All right, Cheryl, you're good.
Thank you. Well, it's a real pleasure for me to be here with you all again. We've been off for a couple of weeks for all of these holidays, so I feel like I haven't seen you in a while, and I'm so happy to have us all back together again. As Carol said, we're doing this every Thursday night, and I really have to, give it to Carol Turnbow and Josh Duhan. They started this call for their own team really a couple of years ago, and they have really been faithful. Now we really put our arms around many people. Love the stories. We're all about the story. I'm excited for Alicia and for her whole team, and I loved it. When Michelle, we're gonna see you retire at the end of this year, and we'll all be cheering. And then got really, tickled as I hear Renee, and again, so many times, and so often you hear it over and over. People come across the product by accident, and they don't really expect much. And then, I mean, how does it just fill your heart and lift your heart? When you hear a story like Juliet or any of you that have shared tonight, I mean, it just makes you so happy that you're involved with something that can make such a difference for people, and I love that. Well, if you're joining us for the first time, and since it is the new year, I'll introduce myself formally here. My name's Cheryl Cortese, and I'm a national marketing director with the Juice Plus Company. I think it's called Presidential PMD Plus at this point, but I've been with the company for 33 years. And in that 33 years, it's been an amazing experience, and one that continues to grow a tremendous amount of prosperity, but huge happiness. And I think the happiness is the real revenue here, and very, very excited that this is my life and this is where I am, and that I get to do it with all of you. As we start the new year, we certainly look back on 2020, and I had a conversation with Paulo a week or two ago. He's our company, CEO, and he said he was going to stay up till midnight to make sure that clock didn't get stuck. 2020 would move on its way. And so I think last year for all of us was one that was certainly surprising. We could not have predicted what our year would be like. And yet what's very, I think gives me a great deal of pride is that everyone in our organization, everyone in our company, just really stepped up to be of service to other people. We didn't miss a beat. If anything, our businesses grew because everybody stretched out to help others. And I think that's the beauty of who we are and what we're about. And if we look at this year, we have a year now that's coming that, is still going to have obviously some challenges with it. But at the same time, realizing that you can take control of this year. You can be the one who makes the decision as to how your year plays out, how your business plays out in your life, and you can be on top of that. And so it's just that, mindset. How are you going to look at this year, and how are you going to structure this year, and how are you going to access it at the highest level for the highest good, not only for yourself, but for others? Our national marketing director team was talking this Monday. We have an NMD call every Monday morning with our organization. And we were talking about, how and what our goals would be. And I encourage you, you're really a national marketing director in the making, every one of you. And so, and whether you think, you're going to grow to that position or not, I guarantee you, if you just keep telling people the story, it's going to happen as time goes on. But our NMD team, we always, at the beginning of the year, we plot out, I guess you would say, our goals. What do we want the year to look like? Look at the year and then break it down, going, I guess you would say, backwards. You kind of fill it in. Look at what your goal is. I hear some people refer to it as, goal timeline, that they're going to say, what's the timeline that I reach the next goal? Look at your year, then break it down into 90-day segments. Look at those 90-day segments and break that down into monthly segments of what activity needs to happen for your year to really be the very best year ever. I call it forecasting, that we're going to forecast the year. They forecast the weather. Why can't we forecast the year? Okay, so let's look at that year and with the most positive desire and commitment to a successful outcome. We've never been more relevant. We've never had a product that was more desirable. I mean, fruits, vegetables, and berries and omegas are, everybody knows that those things are important, and everybody wakes up every day wanting to do the best for their health, especially in the environment we live in today. And of course, there's so many people today that are challenged financially, and to have that supplemental income can make such a difference for people. So your stories are so powerful, and your story is not just powerful for you. Your story is really not about you. It's about the person you tell it to and how it's going to change their lives. Listen to the stories tonight and to any story you hear. It's just totally wonderful emotional revenue that comes along with the fact that you've made such a difference for someone who had no idea that that difference was waiting, and that you can not only help them, but you can help them help others, and we all do that together. So if I look at this year and I say, okay, what is the baseline of what I want to accomplish? Because for all of us, we have short-term goals. And as soon as you reach that goal, you want to make sure that there's another one in place. So the finish line is always the starting line, no matter where you are in our business. Whether you're a new partner and you're going for QSC, whether you're a QSC going for sales coordinator all the way up, whether you're a top national marketing director and you're looking at how you want your entire organization to expand. The finish line is always the starting line. So if I were to look at what do I want to create in this year, baseline, to make sure that my goals are met? Well, it's something called momentum. You want to be able to create momentum in your business. And I'll never forget, I was probably at this for about a year and a half to 2 years. And my sponsor, Jeff Roberti, looked at me one day and he said, you know why your business has been successful? He says, it's because you have momentum. You've never put your momentum down. And I said, well, you better tell me what that is, because I don't want to put it down by accident. I don't want to accidentally lose it. And so he said, well, this is what momentum is. He said, you create it by doing paying activities consistently. He says, you've never taken that break from that rhythm of consistent activity in your business. So the word momentum became very intriguing to me, because I thought, well, if I can really get clarity on this, I can be in control of the whole thing, because you want to be in control of your business. You're the president of your company and you want to access it at the highest level. So let's talk a little bit about the word momentum tonight. Well, first of all, what does it mean? How do you develop momentum? How do you sustain it? How does it grow? You look around and you say, there's some people that it looks like our business is just effortless. And there are others that it looks like it's a real struggle or a challenge. Well, the only difference in those two things is the word momentum, because momentum is what lifts and continues to carry your business. And the beauty of it is momentum is a skill, and anyone can learn a skill. That's the thing. As far as being a human being, any human being can learn a skill. So if I were to go to the dictionary, and I don't know that there's such a thing anymore, you might have to ask Siri. She's the dictionary now. But if I were to ask Siri, give me the definition of momentum, she would say a strength or force gained by motion. Well, motion, of course, is activity. So if you think activity, momentum. So activity, momentum comes through consistent, disciplined activity. The day we become a partner, we're all at the same place. It's called zero momentum. The day you sign that line, you're just starting. At that point, though, and at any point in your business, you can identify how to create momentum and put it in place for yourself. The first step in establishing your momentum is a commitment to activity. Now, this commitment is not to your upline, it's not to the company, it's not to anybody else but you. It's the commitment to yourself, okay, at the level in which, and the standard of activity at which you will hold yourself accountable. It's really your chosen strategy. And the thing I love about our business, your chosen strategy, is the part about it that you love, the things that you love doing. I heard, as Juliet started saying, I'm going to tell everybody everywhere. I don't care about, I heard it from also from Michelle, I'm telling them all. Well, that desire to get out there and do what you love to do brings a return. I love the product, and I could go on all night about all the wonderful things it's done for me, taking it every day for 30 years, or the 28 years we've had it. We're close to 30. But I also love our business. I love the part about telling people about how our business works and how it made a difference in my life and how it could make a difference in theirs. And so whatever you love, lean into that, because that's going to be where you get the return. People listen to your emotions much more than they do facts or figures or ingredients. They listen to your heart. So your heart's the first thing you want out there. So again, we go back to, momentum is the consistency of a chosen activity that pays well. Activity refers to doing the basics that result in financial return. And this is going to build the foundation of your business. So there are really only two things we do. We share the product story and acquire customers. We share the business story and acquire team members. So we're just putting our arms around people, for the product and the business. Those are the paying activities, anything that brings that return. So our job description is exposure. Exposure of the stories that tell about the product or how we share that product with others through our business model. So if we look at how do we do that? Well, we're doing it right now. We've had an event. We've had an event together. And we become window dressing, you might say, for one another. So you're wanting to bring as many people as possible to experience the stories and experience the event. You might do that conversation one-on-one with somebody that you meet or talk to. You might do it 2 by 2 as you and your sponsor share it with other people that you know, and they come behind you to validate your story. You might do small events. A lot of them, of course, are virtual today, but we'll get back to where we're all together again in real life. But isn't it wonderful that we can meet like this virtually? How many 3-way Zoom calls do we do all day as people share the story and get to see each other and see the emotion that goes behind it or the passion that goes behind it? And passion's a big part of it. Passion is really, I guess you would say, the underlying factor of what we call the daily method of operation, which is the activities that you choose to do. So all of the things that go together to create exposure, any kind of presentation, wellness presentation, events of all types, conference calls. Our Monday night conference call has been going on now for 31 years. We've never missed a Monday night. Thursday night, here we are. We get together to share with one another. So really the only way to become proficient at a skill is to practice that skill every day over and over and over. And it'll be like riding a bicycle before long, or driving a car. You've got that imprint on your brain. You don't even have to think about it anymore. It becomes the rhythm and the function of your day, which brings the return. So the more you practice the skill, the more proficient you become. And you develop a discipline. And that discipline is your being disciplined to the committed, proven activities, and doing them consistently is really one of the most important aspects of the foundation of a very powerful business. So if your momentum continues to increase, your volume and your income will increase accordingly. A lot of people think, well, everything depends on the amount of volume. That's where your focus would be on the volume that you create of business. But really, volume is a result of momentum. So everything depends on the ability to create momentum. So let's talk about just the basics again and recap on creating momentum. To establish momentum, you must practice the basic skills daily. And those skills would be sharing the story, doing all of the participating and immersed in everything where there's a creation of exposure for what we have and who we are. To sustain the momentum, you must apply the skills consistently as you develop a daily method of operation. So we're referring to this daily method of operation as the DMO, your daily method of operation. Now that's your chosen strategy. And this chosen strategy is really your personally designed system of daily activities, which when followed consistently will lead to amazing results. So you get to design it. And the thing about the DMO is your DMO will never let you down. Only you can let it down by not having the consistency. So if you do the activities over and over, often enough, momentum is going to begin to occur. And it's kind of like you hear people talk about going to the gym. And at first are doing all the activities and the body looks the same. But if you do them consistently, it totally changes in that healthy, wonderful way that you want it to. So the magic is following your plan consistently. The magic is in repeating the basics day in, day out without fail. It's living up to that commitment that you made to yourself. So, to sustain your momentum, you just must sustain your effort. Mastering the fundamentals is the beginning, but to make exceptional progress, you must apply these fundamentals consistently. So I'm going to ask you right now, who is in control of your activity? Who? Must be you, okay? It must be you. So the day I figured out, after Jeff and I talked about it, that I was the one who was in control of my future. I was the one who was in control of my check. I was the one who was in control of the outcome. That really gave me a perspective that it was one of those defining moments where you say, okay, I've got this now. Because I knew all I had to do was be consistent on a daily basis with the things I love doing that were related to our business in telling the story, coming behind my new team members, telling the story, creating the events, being part of the events, and telling the story. And of course, then asking people to join and be part of what we do. Now, certainly, this is something you want to basically create for yourself, but you also can tap in to so much momentum that's already in place. And that's the beauty of an organization that you can have an identity with, a company that you have an identity and connection to. If we think about just the momentum that's in place for this organization, well, certainly our conference calls, Monday night conference call, this conference call on Thursday night, everybody's welcome. And we all come together to support each other. What about events? All the various events that we do as an organization, that other organizations do, that we support each other. Events are extremely powerful. One of the most powerful momentum things that are already in place is the stories. I'm always be a collector of stories, other people's stories. I love hearing the stories because then when I talk to somebody and it sounds like they have similar challenges, I can say, you may want to talk to, you may want to talk to Renee. You may want to talk to Alicia. You may want to talk to someone who I think has had a similar experience. And so you connect people. Staying connected is one of the most powerful things you can do as well. And that's one of the things I find, the 2 C's, consistency of effort with, well-chosen paying activities, and staying connected to your upline, connected to your personal team, connected to the larger team, your organization, connected to the company. So that momentum is in place for you to tap into. And then what about company momentum? We have millions and millions of Juice Plus bottles that leave our warehouses, every day. I mean, if we look at this organization, we do just this, our organization, the Cortese organization, we do right at $10 million worth of Juice Plus sales every month. Realize how many people you all have reached and how many more we'll continue to reach. So that's just a representation of what we as a group of people can do together for others. So the company has so many people over so many years consistently. I have customers I've had over 20 years, So, it's something that is going to be very basic in people's lives. And then what about media momentum? any doctor's office you go into, are they going to recommend fruits, vegetables, berries, omegas? You know, if you're going to talk about food, everybody knows. You only have to look at things like the American Cancer Association, all of the various things that support health. They're going to recommend raw fresh fruits and vegetables. What do we hear? 13 to 15 servings a day. So there's the thought, the education is already out there. People know that they need it. So that momentum is in place. So if you really get a good handle on what momentum is and how it works, then, and hopefully I've given a few ideas that will help that, then you certainly realize that you can be in control of your future. As far as showing up to do this every day, I'm always working at what is that list? Who are the people I'm going to talk to? Who am I going to be able to help develop a team so that we can go out and wrap our arms around others and continue to grow that team and grow it worldwide? And have, step into a big picture. This is something that Jeff was very clear with me. I thought about this as, next door across the street, in my town. He said, no, we're going to think about the state, the country, the world. And that today with technology, you can reach out to all those areas very, very quickly, but you still have to keep the heart and you have to keep that personal connection, because that's where people really, I think, develop that passion to help each other, is they draw from the passion and emotion of those that share it with them. So as we look at this new year, it's just going to be a matter of, what is your strategy going to be? What is your plan going to be? Get with the person who is working with you, or you all get as a team with your upline national marketing director. Put together a strategy and a plan. 1-year plan, break it down to 90 days. That's, the various segments of the year. Usually it's about 90 days of effort that you see. The next 90 days, you'll see the growth from. And then month to month, create that goal timeline. When do you want to be to the next position? What does that look like? What activity goes into that? You can break it down to how many team members that would require, how many customers would that be to make that happen. And in doing so, it'll reach the goals. And then the passion I heard on the phone tonight, as far as the stories, just tell the stories. That's all it's about. Tell the stories. And it's really numbers. It's, I look at my business as if people are a long line out into infinity and I'm just going through that line. Are you interested? No. Move out of the way. You're interested? No. It doesn't mean that I don't care. They may not be ready to hear, but when someone hears the story and there's some interest, that's where you stop and you share the heart and the idea and the mission, and you invite them to partner if that is comfortable at the time, or they go on the product and you invite them to partner it somewhere along the line. But it is, to stretch out and really wrap our arms around the world. And I think at this time too, for all of us to realize that it's not just a business, it's really a mission. And I feel for all of us truly a moral obligation to know that we have something that can make the difference for people that you heard, even in the stories tonight. Not to share that with others would be almost selfish. And so we want to make sure that, as I said, we are the people that show up, because we are the ones that can in a time that can be very challenging for people, and that we really, we have the best of all worlds to offer. We have good health to offer, we have supplemental income to offer, but we have a wonderful community to offer at a time where people are experiencing a lot of isolation and loneliness. And so let's bring them into the family, and let's enjoy, this mission together. So I think I'm a minute or a few minutes over time, but it's been a pleasure, everybody. Let's see who we can round up for next Thursday and have another gathering. And today I was on a call with some of the people from Mexico, some of their leadership in that new part of the world, and Europe. And we're just looking forward to when the next big party happens and everybody can be together. So I'm ready for a party, but let's make sure that we stay connected. Okay. See everybody, and congratulations again to those people who shared tonight, and to Lalicia and Arlita and that whole team. Okay. Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks,
Take
Cheryl.
care.
Good night.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Cheryl,
you.
Cheryl, everybody.
Night.
Great.
Good night, everyone.
By the way,
Thank you, everyone.
New Year.
Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
New
This was
Year.
wonderful.
Great
all of
stories,
you.
everybody.
Bye.
Really
Take
awesome.
charge this year. Take charge of this year. Take
Thank you,
care.
everyone.
I
Anita,
agree.
thank you.
Hi, I'm
Thank
just
you.
chilling at 40 miles on the bike.
Thank you for coming on.
Y'all have a great evening, everyone. We'll hear you hopefully on Monday night as well. Good night.
Awesome.
Night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Enjoyed it.